There's one thing I picked up when it comes to positioning ourselves as a preferred candidate. And I want to give you a 3-step system so that you can show up as a trusted advisor. Because here's what I know to be true. You do everything right. You are applying for the right jobs. You are asking for the promotion. You are pitching your ideas, but it doesn't really land. And because it doesn't land, you start to question yourself. If you can relate to this, then this video is for you, because you're probably making the same mistake I made for years, showing up as a yes sayer when really I wanted to show up as the trusted advisor I knew I was. This one mindset shift, going from a yes sayer to a trusted advisor, is based on neuroscience research on how employers make hiring decisions. And the insight completely shifted how I showed up in every high-stake conversation. So by the end of this video, you will understand the 3 levels of this mindset shift and have a practical system you can use right before your interview and walk into every conversation as a trusted advisor. Hey, my name is Camilla Kalbeck, the host on this channel. I help high-performing women who are ready to stop playing small, upgrade their self-image, master their energy, and walk into every conversation as a trusted advisor. Ready? Let's get started. If you're anything of the women I coach, you don't walk into conversations unprepared. You read the job description more than 10 times. You rehearsed answers in your head. You tweak your CV so much that you can't really relate to what's in it. And still something feels off. You can feel it in the conversation in the room, and the people you're with can feel it too. It is not because you are not good enough. You are good enough. But it's because who you've been told be in those conversations. About 8 years ago, I was in the exact same situation. I just decoupled. I was a single mom in transition. I needed the job. I needed the money. I would pay and spray, and I would walk into interviews thinking, I just need to be nice. I just need to say what they want me to say. I need to agree with everything, and I'm very flexible. I ended up either with polite rejections or some job opportunities that I didn't even know how I could get my life around. And in this process, I discovered something really fascinating on stress hormones and decision making. When you need something desperately, your entire physiology, your language, your energy, everything vibrating on that need. What happens is that your desperation puts people off. So I played with this, and it was not easy for me in the beginning to let go of the neediness, but I needed to let go of that neediness because I knew I had something amazing to offer. So when I shifted my mindset from I need this job to I am here to discover, is this the right match for me and can I help them? Everything shifted. And I know I'm not the only one. One of you commented on one of my recent videos that this approach is golden advice and a game changer. So let's break down how you can become the trusted advisor in 3 simple steps. Level 1 is where most of us are trapped. It's a yes sayer trap. I've been there most of my life, and I think we're conditioned to be a yes sayer. I'm a mom, and I say, you just have to say yes. In schools, we learn to say yes. And oftentimes we say yes out of fear of not being liked, of being rejected. But if you want to land a job with more responsibility, those you're going to serve are not looking for yes sayers. Most people in the organization are yes sayers. They're looking for people who will help them understand what they are either not aware of, or what they ignore to be aware of. And that's where you enter the conversation. Here's what yes sayers look like. You agree with everything they say, even though you have a different perspective. Yeah, can you relate? I've been in those conversations because I was afraid to own my voice. You may hide your real opinions because you're afraid to be different. You say things like, I'm flexible, I can adapt my family life around it, I can work longer hours, and you are performing instead of contributing. Research shows job interviews can spike your stress hormones 2 to 3 times. You feel that as tense jaws, tight shoulders. Maybe you can even feel your heart contracting. Maybe your voice breaks when presenting. We want to remove fear out of the equation because remember, when they audit you, you should as well audit them. So when you show up as a yes sayer, the hiring manager, if they're looking for someone they want to trust, if they're looking for someone who can really help solve the bigger problem, they don't want people who just say yes all the time. They are looking for people who dare to say their opinion with integrity, with authenticity, with lightness. So that's what they're looking for. And if you're signaling, I need this job, just pick me, they feel that frequency and that feels off. So you see there's two poles, those who are looking for a trusted advisor and you coming in with the lens of I just need to have this job. And when you're coming from a lower level energy and the yes sayer energy, you may have poor eye contact, the close body language, because you're not relaxed. If you're relaxed, you'll be chit-chatting, right? It's going to be really interesting to see how I can support you. But when you are in fear mode, you are not relaxed. Your body posture is more closed. And also, you just agree without sounding really convinced that you are sure that you can deliver. I don't think that the hiring manager consciously think that this person is desperate. They just pick up your vibration and they feel it in the body. Maybe they can't even articulate why you're not a match, but they feel it because energy is contagious. In my Trusted Advisor Accelerator, we spend 2 full weeks on nervous system regulation and brain body coherence practices, because you can learn all the tactics in the world on how to upgrade your LinkedIn profile, how to upgrade your CV, how to write covering letters. But if your body is in survival, then none of the tactics will actually land. So let me give you the foundation that you can start using immediately. Level 2, that's where magic starts to happen. That's why we step into being a servant leader. And this is where my work on self-love, self-respect, and people-pleasing becomes incredibly practical, because we shift from what can I get out of this room, like I'm in this room to get a job, to what can I give when I'm in this room? How can I serve in this room? Even the shift, you can probably feel it in your shoulders. I can certainly feel it in my shoulders. You might be thinking, hey, Camilla, but isn't that just another form of people pleasing to serve? No, it's not. And here's why. People pleasing comes when you do not believe that you are enough, that you don't trust yourself. So you perform to earn approval. When you anchor in your knowing, when you know that you're good enough, then you are generally in that room to serve. There's no fear because you just know what you know works. And here's something fascinating. When people generally want to help and contribute, they are perceived as more competent and more trustworthy. And that's how we want to show up. That is our personal brand, right? When we want to land a new job, we want to be perceived as more competent. We want to be perceived as more trustworthy. And it comes by having calm nerves. It comes by owning your worth. And it comes by just being you in the room, being authentic, being in that room to serve. How do we do that? Here's a practical system for that shift. Step number 1, assess your energy before the interview. We are in that room together to see if we can collaborate peer to peer, which is a conversation, right? And when you use the word conversation, your shoulders relax. So I invite you to remove into from your vocabulary and replace it with conversation. And that's exactly what's included in my energetic vocabulary framework. So it's about in step one, assess what energy do I vibrate on? What words do I pick? And if you pick words that don't set you up for success, that contracts your heart, that doesn't make you happy or relaxed, put those words back on shelf A and pull down a better feeling language. You're not here to prove, you're here to assess. You're not here to convince or impress, you're here to inspire. So what you want to do is you want to match the energy in your responses. If your hiring manager uses higher vibe words, you want to use higher vibe words. And they actually help you subconsciously to get up to that next level where it's more in flow state, where you can relax and where you can think out of the box and where you can ask bigger questions. Now you have some tools. So next time you apply for a job, not only you should be curious about the language that they choose in the ad, but also when you're in the room together with them. And also you're going to assess and ask some powerful questions because you now know that energy and frequency indicate whether it's a match or not a match for you. You can now decode their communication style, their leadership style, the culture, and it gives you an unfair advantage, not only what jobs to apply for, but also when you're in the meeting, what is really going on. So instead of rehearsing practical questions, start to be super present in the conversation and ask questions. Be curious about why do you pick those words, because it's not randomly picked. They choose it subconsciously, and it gives you some breadcrumbs whether it could be the right next match for you or not. Step number 3, that is all about practicing self-love. Before an interview, you want to get into the frequency of being a trusted advisor. How do you feel when you're a trusted advisor? How do you feel when you're seen, heard, and respected? When you're so relaxed in that conversation? Get into that feeling that you already have this dream job. It's creating from the 5th dimensional world and not coming from the 3rd dimensional world where we're coming from that. Never leave a house feeling empty. So you never want to feel empty. You want to go into that interview feeling complete, feeling whole. And yes, you get to fake it till you make it, but that is how you get your vibration to the highest level. That is the way to build unstoppable confidence, that you know that you're good enough, that you bring value to the table. You stop performing and you start contributing. This self-love foundation is actually where I spend most of my time with my clients, because if we don't love ourselves, if we don't respect ourselves, if we don't have healthy boundaries, then it's really difficult not to show up as a people pleaser. While you can absolutely work on your interview techniques and see results alone, the real transformation happens when you're in room with other people who can mirror back what you have accepted. If you have accepted a standard where you tolerate too much, then also at work, you will tolerate way more than you actually should. And that's the deeper work we do together in the 12-week program. But for now, let me just show you how this plays out. Level 3 is a trusted advisor positioning, and it can actually go really fast, going from level 1, where we're a yes sayer, to the trusted advisor. What you need is the awakening. The trusted advisor do 3 things differently. They listen to what is said and what is not said. They read the room, they pick up the energy, and they ask questions to demonstrate that they are in that room to set other people up for success. And they know that most people don't know what they need, which means that they continue asking questions and they don't accept the first answer as the answer. It's never the final answer, the first answer. And when people just say something like that, They haven't even taken the time to reflect. That are three traits you want to embody right away so that you can show up in the interview as a trusted advisor. I want to give you two scenarios. The trusted advisor go into the meeting to listen, to really understand what is going on in the room, what are the biggest problems we're here to solve. Where the yes sayers, they don't show up as a confident person, and they oftentimes do not get to really pitch their ideas, and they end up being the doers and the transactional leaders. But the trusted advisors are not in that room to be like. They're in that room to provoke other people's thinking so that the people they serve will achieve more success. One job, two different approaches, and two different outcomes. Now I want to give you 3 critical mistakes to avoid when making this shift. Mistake number 1, confusing trusted advisor with arrogance. When we're being a trusted advisor, we are actually in that room to serve. And I was teaching someone the other day about the trusted advisor framework. And I said, sometimes it can be that the question you're about to ask, it feels so uncomfortable, but you just know that if I don't ask that question, I'm not serving as powerfully as it could. That's what it means to be a trusted advisor. So if you are doing all the talking and not listening, you're not advising, you are performing. And I've been there. It's your system that has been trying to keep you safe. Now we're teaching it a new way. Mistake number 2 is saying you're a trusted advisor, but you don't show up as a trusted advisor. Most people, they talk a lot because they are nervous, but when you get a question that is very broad, you want to know what are they really looking for. For example, tell me a little bit about yourself. What is it that you are truly interested in? Let me know and I will zoom in. That is a trusted advisor because you can talk about everything, right? So don't claim you're a trusted advisor if you don't show up as a trusted advisor. Mistake number 3, forgetting that you are interviewing them too. It is not a one-way audition. It's a two-way audition. You can as well say, thank you so much, but this is not a match for me. When you do that, you are so powerful. So listen to your body and be proud when you say, thank you for the opportunity, but right now it's not time to collaborate. So let's recap the 3 levels. Level 1, recognize the yes sayer trap. Level 2, shifting from how can I land this job to how can I serve. And level 3, position yourself as a trusted advisor by listening, asking strategic questions that demonstrate your thinking and show that you're also auditing them. Now here's the truth. Everything I told you in this video works. You can apply the coherence practices, you can take the energetic vocabulary frame, and you can go and ace the conversations yourself. But here's what I also learned by working with hundreds of women. The people-pleasing patterns that create yes say energy in interviews is usually showing up everywhere else in your life. And while you can definitely work on the interview tactics alone, the real transformation, the fast transformation happens when you address the root cause. Why you're a people pleaser, what are your deepest fears? And that is why I created the Trusted Advisor Accelerator. It is not just a job prep course. It's 12 weeks of deep work on emotional intelligence. You become masterful of regulating your energy in the moment. We work on how to position you strategically as a trusted advisor, whatever room you are in. So if you're listening to this thinking, this is me, I'm done shrinking in rooms where I know I'm the most prepared woman, then this is your next step. The Trusted Advisor Accelerator is where we do the work properly in your body, in your energy, in your identity. I'm opening 10 spots for the January cohort. If you know you're meant to walk into your next role as the woman they call first, not the EA, not the woman they overlook, you will find all the details in the link below. But again, you can absolutely start with the free resources. The question is, how fast do you want to land your next dream job? And if people pleasing is something you want to understand better, watch this next video. Thank you for being here. I love you. And remember, you were never just a candidate. You've always been the trusted advisor. Now it's time the world feels it too. I will see you in the next one.